What is going on, everybody? It's Jay, aka It's Ghost Story, back with another Phantom Parade video. And this one's going to be a little bit of a tangent, a fair bit of a ramble, because as I'm recording this, yesterday was the 2.5 anniversary live stream. We reacted to it live. And I'm going to be completely honest with y'all when I say it didn't really live up exactly to my expectations for what the stream was going to be about. I guess I'll just kind of, go into like the nitty-gritty details of what I expected, the things that I like, the things that I dislike, and the things that I'm hoping for in the future for the update that's supposed to be on the 28th, I believe, on the stream. So here's the thing. First things first, the stream was very long. Okay, well, not very, very long. It was like 2 hours, right? But there was a lot of filler in the stream, right? It was a lot of filler with like the voice actors, polls with everybody in the building, advertising the, the physical item shop, the whole 9 yards, which is okay. It would have been fine if that wasn't majority of the live stream, where it's like, okay, this is a live stream for a gacha game. It's a live stream for one of its anniversary events. You would think that it would be a celebration predominantly about the game, and it felt like it was more focused on like the interactive stuff with the VAs and like stuff that they were selling outside of the game over the actual stream. Even the actual JP chat was like disappointed with a lot of the core announcements. My chat, majority of them was also not happy with the announcements, and I tried my best to be, how do I say this, very neutral on the entire endeavor. I mean, I did enjoy some of the things that were announced, and I didn't enjoy some of the other things that were announced. So the things that I did enjoy is that I like the effort that's getting put into the art for everything that's going on. The art for the game gets better and better with every release. I've been saying this since the start of this year, okay? Almost every release has banger art. It doesn't stop, right? But banger art can only help a game so much. Now, for the actual units in question, which is Blue Yuji and Yellow Gojo, at first, I was like, they looked a little bit cool. But then I saw like, the reused assets on the Blue Yuji, which was basically Blue Gojo skill 3 stretch. And like, I did not really enjoy that. And also from like the surface level perspective we got from Blue Yuji's kit, it feels very bare bones. And the reason why it feels very bare, The reason why it feels very bare bones is most likely due to the SP system that they're adding to the unit, which basically correlates to how many dupes that you have on the unit equals like the changes it will have, which is like the SP that they showed and the new voice lines and the new card art, which is something I absolutely despise. I think that's the most anti-free-to-play thing they have ever done in the game, currently standing. You would think for a anniversary, which should be a celebration for events, they would want players to be happy with what's going on. Nobody, not even myself, who is a paid player, enjoys this idea whatsoever. Now, mind you, does it give you a deeper reward for dupes? Yes. Does this game give enough currency where chasing dupes is reasonable? Hell no. Not even close, right? Even people who spend like me, sometimes chasing dupes is far too risky of an endeavor whatsoever, right? And this is coming from somebody that spends way more than the average person that spends on Phantom Parade. Even the light spenders that I know, they would not be able to chase dupes to the degree that the devs probably want them to. And this is probably like the worst case scenario overall, because in my head, I was imagining that like the summer outfits would be like skins for a little bit. It would be like a skin gacha, which would also be just as bad. Or like, if they were paid skins, it would be okay, because it'll be just like last celebration where Yuji and Gojo also had skins, but Yuji had the free skin, Gojo had the paid skin, but the paid skin at least came with like cubes, so it would make sense. But no, we just have units that have day 1 SPs, and that day 1 SP is gate kept by dupes. Not good. I don't like that. And it also feels like the effort that was put into the Gojo's kit was very small, right? Because like he's not really doing much. I mean, the ultimate animation they showed off was pretty cool, but outside of that, you know, he has a really good looking kit as a support, just full blown. A fantastic looking kit from a surface level perspective, but that's it. And then you track back to Yuji, where his kit looks very underwhelming. And the problem is that his kit looks very underwhelming at a surface level perspective. And what scares me about that is that, okay, if they're hiding SPs by additional awakenings, this means that the devs can make these limited units and they can be completely dog water, right? But they'll be like high selling units like the Yujis, the Gojos, the Nanamis, all of those units that you guys know sell like hotcakes, right? That the average player will just whip out their wallets for. They will make these units, I guess you could say mid or underwhelming or not that great. They can do that and then just make them, you know, the actual limited variant, the strength that we're used to, held behind dupes, which is a horrible practice all in all. A practice so horrible that the fellow whales that I talk to in the community are even like considering quitting the game over it, because it is just that horrendous. I'm not planning on quitting the game. I'm just very disappointed. I also have to see personally like what the but what dupes do you need to get, you know, the art, the voice line changes, and the SP, right? Because like if it's gate kept behind like A3, A4, A5, it's a little ridiculous, right? Like already getting a unit to A1 could either be pretty simple or a very risky endeavor, all in all. I do appreciate them doing like the 20 tickets as they did for Anniversary previously. That is also an excellent thing that they're doing. That is a positive. The other things that I disliked is that they're doing I feel like they're doing a follow-up stream or a follow-up announcement on the 28th that is heavily teasing the Nobara and Megami units, which, you know, 4 units for one celebration is basically just a throwback to, you know, previous Anniversary, which then leads to the issue again that I had when I made my initial rant video on the first Anniversary. My rant is that we are releasing banger unit after banger unit, and there's not enough currency to reasonably spend to acquire all of these units in that time frame, right? So 4 units in one big celebration. It's also new for half anniversary since we're used to 3 units. Obviously, the year prior, we had Awakened Gojo, we had Teen Shoko, we had Teen Nanami, that's 3. And in the year beforehand, obviously, we had, you know, Gojo, Geto, Toji. But now that we have 4, and we also include, again, this really terrible mechanic where the more dupes you get, the more things change, you know, that puts an even heavier, you know, risk on the cube spending. Now, the positives, right, of this ordeal that we're in is that some people, maybe they can just skip half anniversary if they like, which is kind of a bad thing because half anniversary is a celebration, right? So it should be making the game a lot of money. In fact, if you guys watched my Gacha revenue report video analysis, where it was kind of like Phantom Parade has trends, you know? The game has a lot of up and down periods and it feels very planned. And if this half anniversary doesn't make around like $4 or $5 million, right, in just like a setting of like 1 month, that's a big issue. It's a big issue financially for the game. So all in all, right, it just leads to the conclusion that these units, I think the art is cool. The units themselves feel like they didn't have that much effort put into them. And again, I already called out the idea of like reusing animations on like Yuji from like Blue Gojo. And I already called out like that animation, like the stretch animation looks so unnatural until like right at the end. Then it just looks kind of normal, but it looks really, really, really unnatural. And kind of just backtracking to that, that's not even the first time they've done it, because for Kenjaku, they have reused animation from the story mode for Kenjaku and gave him out as a unit. For Red Mahito, they also reused animations from the story battles or whatever to make him into a unit for his initial form before he transforms. So this isn't new, but it's still annoying nonetheless, right? Especially when the animations aren't polished up. But the unit information was so limited that I can't even talk about it any further. It felt like we were almost gate-kept from how great these units could be, especially because when I was analyzing, their kits on stream, because, usually when they do a unit preview, for example, like on Twitter, even though they don't show off every single respective skill, you can kind of just look at a skill and be like, okay, it does that, right? Because you can just tell from the symbols that are put into the game. And then you can look also at the bottom of their passives to see like what they have at the bottom. It's like, oh, this unit has this, or this unit has that. Like, for example, when Green Nanami released, we could tell that he had Resurrection. We can also tell that he had a counterattack just from the bottom of like his passives list. But in this, the passive list was so minuscule that it's like, oh wow, like what does this unit really even do, right? And it feels very bare bones. And obviously for Yuji, it is the most bare bones. And it worries me, like I said earlier, because it could just be hard glued to his SP. Big issue. Very, very big issue. But with Gojo, at least, Gojo is very straightforward. You can quite literally see everything that Gojo does because of the fact, again, he has 2 buff skills. So it's like, you could just see what the buffs do flat out on screen. Yellow damage dealt received, yellow damage dealt increase for the team, and yellow stat buffing all in one, which is cracked, by the way. But units can be absolutely monstrous in terms of the meta, but not everybody is going to summon for the sake of them. However, I do believe because it is a Gojo, people are going to buy anyway. It's just the name of the game. I've already had like hundreds of arguments about this. If you smack insert popular character on the screen, insert popular character is going to sell no matter the circumstances. And again, if half anniversary flops, I will eat my words, but I believe that Gojo will sell for everyone, right? In all cases, it just kind of works out that way. And looking forward to it, right? We have base game content updates at least. Right, we're going to get a Formidable Foes update. That makes me happy. You guys know, if you've been following the channel since first anniversary for Global, my main complaint is that there's not enough to do in the game ever outside of just replaying Tower. And now that they're adding new Formidable Foes stuff, it's like, okay, that's cool. It doesn't look like there's a lot of Formidable Foes missions, but it's a start. It's a slow start, but it's a start. And then there's the event that is coming, where we're fighting this like Chimera Beast hybrid dog thing or whatever. And it looks really cool, right? The boss description is very nice. The new currency for exchange is also very cool looking, as well as the color specific Unidupes. Those are probably my favorite addition coming to the game, because farming for general Unidupes is already hard enough as it is, right? Like, especially if you're a free-to-play, I couldn't imagine what it's like for y'all, waiting to see like an SSR fragment just to drop in some random event that's probably like one fragment or 2 fragments like every other month or every 3 months, right? And like for me, a paid player, where it's like, unless I'm whipping out like the $99 pack that's in the secret shop, not the secret shop, the PC exclusive shop every month, then like it'll still take me a fair bit of time to build up a Unidupe. Unless, like, again, I'm, like, whipping out the wallet for, like, the board game event to buy the fragments. But it is still a pretty challenging thing to stack up Unidupes. And these color-specific Unidupes will actually help out a lot for the game. It will help out a lot. And I feel like these color-specific Unidupes are also supposed to play in line to that SP system, where it's like, okay, you guys are getting color-specific Unidupes. You see that blue one that you have? Yeah, Yuji that needs that SP, right, to get like his full power. Go ahead and put those blue Unidupes inside of the new Yuji, so you can awaken him even further. I feel like that's like, again, something that they're playing into. But for like the general scope of the game, I think it's very, very good. Another thing is like the sweep ticket that they showed, the sweep ticket for extra sweep attempts. That is also a very, very good thing. I've also made complaints about sweep in the past that it takes way too long to max out units. And like the RNG factor behind sweep makes it so you can spend a whole week waiting for your sweep to reset. You do it, and then you get like no SP2 bottles, and you're stuck waiting another week at an attempt to try and get SP2 bottles to max out your units. And there's just like, you can have weeks on top of weeks on top of weeks where you just can't max out your character, right? So stuff like that sucks, but the extra attempts do help. The standard banner update, it's cool. As much as I had a little bit of a hissy fit over it, because a lot of people were expecting it to go to Red Megami, and personally, I already knew off rip that they weren't going to go to Red Megami. I just felt it in my bones. It wasn't happening. But I expected it to end at Naobito. It only made sense, right? In my head, it's like, okay, they definitely aren't going to give out Red Megami because they can definitely milk more money out of that character. The same way how they milked like Yellow Shoko on rerun after rerun after rerun, because the devs are definitely aware of how strong that unit is in general. They're doing the same thing for Red Megami, for sure. Red Megami, Kusakabe, they're going to do that, right? But to gatekeep Naobito from this character update is a little wild. And as y'all know, on this channel, y'all seen the Naobito videos. I enjoy using Naobito. And if y'all been in the Discord, I've been talking to you on the Discord saying I want to save up soul shards in specific to A5 Naobito on release to standard banner. And he is the one character that gets snuffed out of his placement of this update. So I have to wait another 6 months for Naobito to hit standard. So not that great. I mean, the standard lineup that's coming it's like half bangers, half okay. If I can remember off the top of my head, actually it might just be more good than bad, because you have Yellow Shoko, you have Blue Maki, you have Green Choso, you have Yellow Toji, you have Blue Inu, and then you have Meme, right? And 4 out of those picks are really good, on their own. Blue Maki is heavily underrated. What is it? Yellow Toji is also really disrespected for no real reason. He is pretty effective even at like A1 or A2. So people being able to get him to A5 will work wonders. Yellow Shoko is the unit they've been dangling over everyone's heads for months and months on end, just milking all the revenue out of her. So obviously having her as an option is phenomenal. Choso is just Choso. You know what I'm saying? Do I really need to say any more in that regard, right? So you already have like banger on top of banger. Ino is super niche. He's not even close to the greatest unit in the game. He's just kind of fun to use, I guess. And then Mei, yeah, it's Mei, right? So we have 4 units that are pretty solid, right? And then 2 units that are niche or like not really worth investing into. And then there's like the swarm of rec bits. Like the ones I can think of off the top of my head is like obviously Awakened Gojo's rec bit for green, and then Let's Go Save Satoru Gojo, Cursed Spirit School group. Like those are some valid choices to just kind of like pick through from a new standard banner update. However, like I said, I'm very bitter over Naobito not making the cut, the same way how everyone else is bitter that Red Megami didn't make the cut. But again, I already knew in my heart that Red Megami was not making the cut whatsoever. But standard banner update is okay, even though I am rage baited by the Naobito stuff. But the stuff that they didn't really go into, because when I started the stream, I said 4 things that I wanted to see. Okay? I said I wanted to see 3 to 4 characters getting announced. Okay? I then said I wanted to see information about like a change for sweep. I then said I wanted to see a tower announcement. And then finally, right? Oh, I'm like kind of forgetting off the top of my head. hold on, I said 4 things, but I kind of forgot off the top of my head. But basically, characters, sweep, tower update. Oh yeah, and basically for the characters, I wanted it up to Naobito, I'm pretty sure. And I didn't get it up to Naobito. And we didn't get a sweep announcement outside of the ticket, and we also didn't get a tower update. Which again, they could just make it into the follow-up for the next announcement they're doing for later in the month. However, I feel like that is a lot of important information to kind of gatekeep. And technically, we did get 3 or 4 units announced, even if Megami and Nobara were just teased at the end. So they kind of just fulfilled that quota. Now, no tower, no sweep update is worrying me a lot, but I'm not going to be like fully over dramatic about it until the follow-up announcement on the 28th. I'm pretty sure it is the 28th. And if there is no sweep announcement, if there's no tower announcement. Oh wait, no, I realized the 4th thing was SPs. Okay, the 4 things with SPs. I also wanted new SPs to be announced. Like, even though we did just get, you know, Blue Nanami, Green Miwa, Blue Miwa, 3 just feels so small, right? There's enough units in the game that kind of deserve it at the moment. But I need at least 2 out of the 3 that wasn't announced. Like, I need Sweeper Tower to be mentioned. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna leave very, very disappointed. Because yes, you can update Formidable Foes, but Formidable Foes, from the screenshot they showed, there is not that many missions in there. And I'm not sure if the difficulty will really be worthwhile, because it's Formidable Foes. Like, so it's base game content. It's supposed to be reasonable to a certain degree for people to beat. But then again, same with, like, I would say the domain investigation event. It is a little bit on the harder side. So it could just be a little bit more difficult. It could be the answer to the issue I had previously in the game, where I'm like, okay, Tower is realistically the only late game content, and there's need to be more modes we can pick outside of Tower to like really settle in and like bite our teeth into to experiment with units. And there's also that all-out battle mode that is also coming, that's with the event that I brought up that had like the different colored, you know, uni dupes and stuff. So, well, not different colored uni dupes because it's not a uni, but different colored dupes, SSR shards. And you know, there's like an all-out battle where you have to use like 6 teams or whatever for like a little bit of raid. That's also cool, but it seems like it's for an event, so it's gonna be a limited time type of thing, no base roster type stuff, or like base game thing. So it also just kind of doesn't assist with like the no tower, no sweep update. It's just there for a little bit. There's also the Maharaga raid, which is again going to be an event, which I hope they fix the times for, because again, a lot of the EU players that I know had horrendous issues with the event, because I'm pretty sure the times open for y'all was like 1 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is very inconvenient. Like, if I had that schedule, I wouldn't have been able to play the Maharaga event reasonably. And even then, when the event was available, I mean, I could barely play it due to like my schedule. So, still a big issue, very big issue nonetheless. So, Formidable Foes being the only new like announced base game content, not great. Now, I'm also not a big fan of having to wait another full week and some change for the final announcement, which should just be, you know, Megami Nobara, and then cope, heavy cope on this one, tower, sweep, maybe an SP, Red Toto, SP stocks through the moon. Everybody in the chat during the stream, they were with me with the Red Toto SP. It has to happen, dude. Like, they can't say that they're doing SPs based off like the usage of the unit and just snub out Red Toto. Not happening. I won't allow it. So, if you guys want my opinions on the 2.5 anniversary live stream, I left that live stream feeling nothing, really. Like, I wasn't moved at all for the most part. Like, I'm more excited for the quality of life update, which is basically like you click on a unit and the game says just like, oh, this is the skill that you should invest in for this unit, and these are the requisites you should also use on this unit. I'm more excited for that to get added to the game just to help out new players more than I am for like what's actually coming, because you know, the units could be pretty cool, right? I will still summon on them nonetheless, because again, on this channel, I summon on every unit. But at the end of the day, I'm disappointed. And I will remain disappointed until the follow-up, announcements, and maybe the follow-up announcements will amaze me. Because the standard banner update, it doesn't really matter to me what it is, because I'm just there to dupe out all the units that I already have. I have every single unit in the game, so I just want to dupe them all out at some point. And now Obito not being there really rage baits me, but still, nonetheless, like I have a huge gripe about that, man. I was waiting. I wanted to A5 Choso and now Obito day one, so now I'm just gonna have to sit here and cope and just A5 Choso and like Toji day one. So that's my personal grievances out the way. I mean, I do want to see like the Yuji and Gojo in action. They'll probably still be fun units to use nonetheless, but I expected a lot more. Because if you remember what I said at the stream, I said the words, this stream decides the next 6 months of the game. And if that stream alone is what decided the next 6 months of the game, we are going to be greatly disappointed for half a year straight. So I am holding out hope for the follow-up announcements to have the things that I want for the game. Because like I say to y'all all the time, I don't hate this game. I love this game. I love playing it. I enjoy this game a lot. If I didn't enjoy this game, I wouldn't make daily videos on it for the past, we're approaching borderline half a year straight of me making videos every single day on this game, sometimes multiple videos a day. The only thing I want this game to do is improve. But I'm also not going to sit here and shill the game and be like, oh yeah, guys, it's better than what you think it is, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, it's a product. The product is taking my money, right? And since I'm spending money on the game, I give myself the right to complain about the product in order for it to be better, not only for me, but for everybody else. So that's my rant, that's my tangent. It's been forever since we had a little ramble video on the channel. I just want the game to be better. That's all. And I know all the people that I interact that also love this game is very disappointed. Even the JP players in the chat, like I said earlier, were disappointed. We can only hope for the best. Hope and cope. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Maybe I might do a reaction video to your guys' takes. Like the first anniversary rant video that I made. So let me know. Shoot off in the comments down below. This is one of the streams of all time, am I right? So hoping for the game to get better. Hope and cope mixed together. If you like the video, like it. It helps the channel grow. Comment down below your thoughts on the matter. Your opinions matter on the game. Subscribe if you want to see more content. Road to 2,000 subscribers. Join the Discord. It's in the channel bio. And yeah, it's been Jay / Half Annie Story. And I will see you guys later.